think my love of Mr. Christopher Jericho has been well documented, but people don't know that you also have a man crush. I mean, you're just a little more secret, a little less pathetic than mine, apparently. But
I feel like I put it on social media from time to time. People probably know.
Do they though?
I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to clarify.
I mean, does he know? Have you told him?
But
you got to share your feelings, man, because he might not always be around.
It's not Anthony Frusciante.
Who is that?
Oh shit! It's not Anthony Kiedis or that. I combined two names. John Frusciante.
What?
They're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, man.
Oh,
should I have said Flea?
Oh, yeah. Then actually, if his name isn't Flea in real life, he's doing something wrong.
It probably is legally.
It would have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I know guys who change their first names to Elvis to sell beer. Like,
seriously?
Yeah, man. Because BrewDog, they make Elvis juice. They got sued by the Presleys.
Oh.
And so they changed their names to Elvis and said, "Nah, it's named after me. Get over your deceased relative." And then they changed their names back, but they still get to have Elvis juice.
That makes no sense. I don't like that at all.
Which part?
Any of it. I don't like the name personally, but I also don't like that they're capitalizing off of Elvis Presley. And then when the King's estate came after them, they changed their name. That's like a big move.
What I think is interesting is I don't know that anyone actually associates it with Elvis until they got sued by the Presley estate.
Probably made him sell so much more beer, right?
I would say afterward, yeah. Although that is their number one selling beer. It's quality beer. It can't just be the name. But I digress.
That also, I've seen BrewDog establishments in 3 countries. Just saying, Hungary, Japan, and Fountain Square. I've seen BrewDogs everywhere.
You ever wrestled in one?
Inside a BrewDog?
Yeah.
No, talk to him for me.
What if we can make this happen?
I'd love to tour all of them.
No, Pharrell, though.
I'll wrestle in like 13 countries and 13 BrewDogs if I can.
I'm going to see what I can do. But anyway.
Pretty sure the BrewDog in Budapest doesn't have the room.
Is this your clever distraction to get away from discussing your man crush?
My man crush? Oh, no, I'm not ashamed. It's Henry Rollins. Hank.
It's kind of underwhelming.
No, but yeah, like for an outsider. Like, yeah, like outsider? A noob. Yeah, it is.
Somebody who's not into Black Flag?
Someone who's in the know, Henry Rollins is the perfect man crush. There's several listeners right now. Right now, my buddy Matt is like, hell yeah, Henry Rollins is a man crush.
Because he likes the Black Flags?
You know, I don't know if all the people who are Henry Rollins fans are Black Flag fans.
Because why?
I was trying to think of the word and I spaced on the word.
Well, what else has he even accomplished in his life?
Oh, Henry's done everything. So, okay, I'll go into my obsession with Henry Rollins. So, Henry Rollins is the perfect story of just dreamer anyway. Henry Rollins was a guy from Washington, D.C. who grew up in a bad part of town, who worked his ass off, and he was a huge punk rock fan. He idolized Black Flag, right? That was his band, like influential punk rock band. Eventually, he got to go to a concert of theirs. Like he got to hang out with the guys. Then when they had another concert, he like just jumped on stage and started singing one of the songs, right? Just started going nuts. Then like a few days later or whatever, they called him up at the Haagen-Dazs he worked at. And they're like, "Hey man, are you joining the band?"
He worked at a Haagen-Dazs?
Yeah. And he made, and I can't remember what he said, but it was like, you know, he made like his $1.15 an hour or something like that. And he worked like 60 hours a week and did everything. And his life just had no upward momentum. And then he got called from his band, his dream band, to come try out. He tried out and then like, "Hey, we're doing this. Pack your bags. You're coming on tour." And then he hasn't looked back since. He was 19 years old, man. That's the dream.
Man, he didn't suffer anything. At 19, come on.
Oh, so yeah, this is where the suffering begins, Pete. Because for the next 6 years, he was the front man for Black Flag, the most influential punk rock band, maybe of all time. And he wrote all of his stuff down in tour journals, eventually published it as the book Get in the Van. And dude, it was like 5-6 years of him just getting his ass kicked and harassed by cops and punk rockers and Nazis.
For molesting children?
He has never allegedly done anything to anyone wrong.
He allegedly, or he has never been alleged?
He's never been alleged to have done anything wrong in that van.
Then why would he name the book Get in the Van?
It's a metaphor.
For molesting children?
For figuratively getting in the van.
Because there's candy?
For literally getting in the van. And hitting the road. He loves children. And not in that way.
So he's 19. 5 years of partying. It's apparently too much for the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's your hero?
So during those 5 years, they set the world on fire, man. And just reading about their struggle is motivating. I have a copy of Get in the Van, which I might be out of print now. Whatever way it is, my copy is like super expensive apparently. However, like this 5 years of struggle, it's sacrifice. They like at points were living in the van, and he would tell stories about how broke they were and how they would flyer for like a month or two just for one show to sell out that one show. And during that flyering, they would get like arrested by the cops, and then they would go to like a buffet where you get like a little all-you-can-eat plate, and they put it on like a huge tray and then just make a mountain because that's the only thing they were going to eat all week. And while he was doing this, he started doing spoken word, like open mic type poetry and stuff. He got really awesome at that. And he had so many emotions like flowing through him during this like 5 years on tour. He started publishing those books, everything like that, and like laying the groundwork for his career after the Flag, man. And then apparently the Flag all like started hating each other and they broke up. And by broke up, I mean they like kicked out Henry.
Well, what are they doing with their lives now?
Henry's doing a lot. Black Flag tried out some other people later, but I mean no one like listens to Black Flag anymore.
So is your theory that Hank made that band?
You know, I love Hank, so I'm biased. I can't say that he made that band because a lot of the Black Flag purists, you know, like the people like during the first couple albums would say that Hank ruined the band. And Greg Ginn, who like created the band, would say, hey, Hank actually ruined the band. But I have to think that's BS because they rose to a prominence unlike anything before that during Hank's time as frontman. But that's a little too technical. I get that. I see the look on your face. That's a little too technical. Anyway, so Hank writes all these books. He records all these albums, their poetry, journals, all this random stuff. He goes and starts touring the world just telling stories, telling these insane, crazy stories. And he's just a ridiculous, like, travel dude anyway. So if he gets a chance to tour and say the 7 most obscure countries on the earth over the next week and a half, he's going to do it. And then the next set of tours he does, he'll just talk about that trip. And he'll be like, yep, I was in Armenia and Azerbaijan and it says Turkmenistan, and this is what happened there.
People can just put vowels together and make stuff up. I was in Grey Poupon. What did you say?
Stan.
Grey Pouponistan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See? And then he just talks about all these things, and he's like a gigantic humanitarian. So he's the head of all these efforts, like clean water efforts in these places, and he's seen struggle, and he's seen war, and he's seen the human condition on a level like I feel like no one has. He's also written for like Rolling Stone, and he does an LA Weekly article, and he does all this stuff. And he's been in like a million movies. He was in Sons of Anarchy.
But is his podcast as good as Joe Rogan's?
It's better. It's so much better than Joe Rogan's.
What? iTunes begs to differ.
Yeah. So is it the Henry and Heidi podcast? That's a great podcast. I highly recommend it. Joe Rogan's, I think, is overrated. I know. Collectively, the podcast world gasps. I just personally don't like Joe Rogan, though.
Joe Rogan makes $75K a podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure. Joe Rogan has he has like the second most successful podcast ever.
Yeah. But at least he's not as bad a human being as like good old Tyson, right? I mean, who just got knocked out.
Tyson Fury's a scumbag, man.
Wait, Tyson Fury won.
Yeah, he won.
My bad, I got that backward.
Yeah, he knocked out Wilder.
Did you lose $100 on that?
Yeah, 100 figurative bucks, like metaphorical dollars. Yeah, because in my mind, I was betting against Tyson Fury, but in reality, I don't know how to place a bet on a boxing match.
We have an app for that now in Indiana, just so you know.
A gambling app?
Yeah.
There's probably a bunch of them.
Well, it's legal here now.
Yeah, or I could just went, can you go to the casinos?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would have done that. I'd rather drive all the way to Anderson to place a bet at the casino than to download one more app for my phone.
To parlay that, for some reason, I thought that Henry Rollins fought for some reason, but I'm told I'm wrong.
He fought cops and punk rockers and the Man for like 5 years in the Flag, and then 20 after with Rollins Band, and then just being this major philanthropist. Yeah, he's been fighting for a long time, Pete.
I think there's just someone who looks like him that actually fought.
He's like 58 years old, and like he's still fighting.
Is that Ken Shamrock's not whining about? It was
recently his birthday. He was born on the 13th of February, so you know.
What year?
61.
What's his mother's maiden name?
I don't know. Oh, Garfield.
And his social security number?
No. I'd throw out mine just as a guess, but I don't want someone to take my social security number and start a credit card or anything. My credit's great. Don't screw it up. Legit, it's flawless, like almost 800.
That's cute. Some of us are north of that, but that's because we own things.
Yeah, I don't
Unlike you.
I don't own
van.
jack. I have a credit card I use for travel miles, Pete, but I pay that thing off all the time.
You know your payment's not due until 3 months. Yeah, pay it now.
Dude, I make one credit card payment a week, man. I want my credit going up, up, up.
Actually, the longer you hold it, the better it is. I mean, you want to pay it off each month, but actually a little rollover debt, as long as you make payments on time, make your minimums.
It doesn't hurt?
Nah. In fact, they like you more if you have a little bit of a rollover. Don't go nuts. If you owe like 12 grand and you only make 800 a year, they're like,
But if that means you have to pay interest at some point, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
That's
want
why
interest.
they like it. Oh, no one wants interest, but that's just the game.
I'm not willing to invest like that. Nah. I'll use it for the travel miles, and then when December comes around, I might threaten to cancel my card anyway. I have a Barclay World travel card. It's great.
Does it get you in any lounges?
No, it doesn't. I need to get a card that gives me clout, but I always travel with the cheapest airline. I never just choose, hey, United.
Do you use that card to fly to a Henry Rollins concert?
I've been to Henry Rollins shows in like 3 or 4 states now, man. I've seen Henry in, I think, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, and Florida. Pretty sure that during the brief stint where I was living in Florida with a homie of mine who's with WWE now, after he got signed there, and I went to a random show of his in St. Petersburg. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, it was at the end of a day where I had ran a 5K with my friend Nadine in the morning. We spent the rest of the afternoon at the zoo because that's where the 5K was. It was like 95 degrees outside. Then we did like 3 other things, and then we went to the show, so I was really tired. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have.
Oh, that's moral of the story. Don't go to the zoo before the concert.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, there's like, because that 2 days could have been great, but instead I tried to have one super great day. But it could have been 2 independently great days.
Well, it sounds like you just got in the van, man. Full send.
Funny enough, I took my Astro van down to Florida. Yes, I did. I just got in the van. Also, I'm not going to lie and say that getting the van wasn't part of the inspiration for me getting a van. Because, yeah, I can throw all my stuff in it. I lived in that Astro van for a few years, Pete. You know this. I was driving everywhere, doing everything, and just sleeping in my van. It was fantastic. I got in the van.
If Instagram was around then, you'd have been ahead of the curve.
Oh, man, it would have been so great. I've already told you about how Dean from The Bachelor lives in his van now, right, too?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. See, me, Dean, Henry Rollins, that's 3 people that should hang out and have a drink. A non-alcoholic drink, because I don't drink, neither does Hank.
Did Hank at some point?
I'm pretty sure he drank a little bit in the early Flag days, but he's known for being a real clean dude.
Does he have the same straight edge tattoo?
No, I don't think he claims straight edge, but his best friend is the guy who actually coined the term straight edge. Because he grew up with Ian MacKaye of Minor Threat and Fugazi. That dude wrote, "We've got the straight edge," which is the name that got attributed later to people who don't drink, smoke, do drugs.
You think he's upset now about...
1981.
You think he's upset now about... Except I think people say Fugazi, but how that term is now used?
I don't know. I think Ian MacKaye is like a real cool, chill dude, according to everything Henry ever says about him.
I think he's Fugazi.
Yeah, well, I'd love to know. I'd love to talk to him about it. Tweet him.
You probably have more followers on your account.
I'd love to talk to Ian MacKaye. I'm sure that guy's great too. I would, if I ever got signed to WWE and they told me I had to change my name, I've thought, hey man, maybe my last name should be MacKaye as a tribute. It can't be Rollins.
Why?
Because Seth Rollins stole Henry Rollins' name for a reason, because Henry's the man.
Yeah, but Seth isn't even that good. He's had the belt like what, 2-3 times?
Yeah, for very long periods of time. For very big shows.
But
no, he's a smart guy and he has smart influences. Just saying.
I'm trying to think of a name that I can say, but all of them are like, oh, he passed away. Oh, he passed away and was a real good dude. Oh, I don't know if like people want heat with him. I can't think of a name to throw in there. But
that I should choose. Dude, if someone was like influential and passed away, there's probably 3 bad indie wrestlers that have already stolen the name.
Oh.
So you have to choose an obscure one like Ian MacKaye.
No, I'm just going to say, yeah, well, Dwayne Johnson had the belt probably just as long, but everybody kind of likes Dwayne. Or so
He'll be our president one day.
Try and pick somebody a little more obscure, but then like, my mind went to like Guerrero, and I'm like, everybody loves Guerrero, and then he passed away, and don't want to. So my lack of wrestling knowledge is really painting me to a corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will also credit Henry Rollins with being the reason I drink straight black coffee, Pete. Because one of his compilation books is Black Coffee Blues. And that's one of my favorite books of all time. I've read it probably 20 times, legit 20 times. Not just me saying that and means I've read it 3 times. Like I've legit read it like 20 times.
Do you have more copies of that or the Jerry Maguire on VHS?
Oh, I have so many more copies of Jerry Maguire on VHS.
So
because
how much can you really love it? Then?
You want your book to accumulate a lot of damage, so it looks like you've read it a bunch of times. It adds character.
But how many copies of Jerry Maguire on VHS have you left for friends because it was that impactful to you? How many copies of that book have you left for friends?
Oh, that's true. I've only ever given away one Henry Rollins book. I think I mailed a Henry Rollins book to Sam after she moved to Colorado. Yeah, because she knew how much Hank impacted me. She didn't like it quite as much as I did, though.
She doesn't get Hank, huh?
No, unfortunately not. But I associated Black Coffee with tough as nails punk rock Henry Rollins. You know, all tatted up and getting beat up by cops and just fighting the man and living his passion even though he was broke. I was like, you know what? Henry drinks black coffee because it's bitter and it's real. Like, it's none of that fake BS coffee. It's not a Starbucks Frappuccino with mint and chocolate chips, Pete.
Not that Fugazi crap.
Black coffee. Because men drink black coffee. They also drink motor oil and sometimes eat nails. And that's what I want in my black coffee. That's the only thing I'll let you add into it. And that's why I drink black coffee, Pete. I don't even like the taste that much, but I drink it all the time. Straight black.
Motor oil?
Also no carbs.
Motor oil and nails might kill a person.
Not in small amounts.
That's fair, but there's a lot of iron.
And if you put a little bit of motor oil in your drink, it just acts as a detox. But I mean that in the phrase, meaning it's not actually a detox. It's a expulsion of
It's a toxin
matter.
that you directly introduce into your body.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's going to make you wreck the bathroom. That's what I mean. But that's the thing you can do. My grandpa told me.
Motor oil.
When I was like 5 years old, yeah. He's like, you can just have a teaspoon of motor oil and it'll clean you out.
I bet it works as a lubricant. I'm not advocating trying it.
I'm not gonna.
No, I meant for those listening. I'm not talking to you. I don't know if there's impressionable youths who are like, oh,
probably.
Motor oil.
So anyway, I also drink black coffee because of him. Yeah, and everyone like knows who Henry is. They just don't know who he is. Like, he was, the funny thing is, like I said, he's a philanthropist and a humanitarian, but he was like the most hardcore Nazi in season 2 of Sons of Anarchy. And he was the crazy ass cop in The Chase with Charlie Sheen. Did you ever see that movie?
No, how old is that?
94. Oh, also, that transitions and segues right back into, you know who of his friends he got to come into the movie The Chase with him? The Red Hot Chili Peppers. He called Anthony Kiedis and Flea when he was on set and was like, hey, you guys want to come out to Houston and be in this movie for like 3 days? And they're like, hell yeah, man. And they came and they just partied.
This is how all the podcasts should go. It's just like some lame joke in the beginning. And it's like, oh, full circle.
Yeah, we don't prep like that. This just happened naturally, organically. And our listeners can tell it's real, Pete. It's real. It's in your face. It's like black coffee.
Yeah, but I'm willing to fake it if it could be replicated.
I would too. Yeah, I totally would. But let's be honest, it's not going to work out like that. If we try too hard, people will know.
It's fair. And then that's not punk rock for some reason.
What else can I tell people about my man hard on for Henry Rollins? I probably brought him up about 50,000 times in the time we've known each other.
Well, yeah, and all the people you asked to get in your van. Now I understand why. That and you're creepy.
Yeah, I want people to live their dream. Hop in my van, please.
Because you're a respectful guy like that.
Yeah, just jump in my van. It's going to be fine.
Please.
Yeah, for real, though. Check out the Henry and Heidi podcast. They don't do way too many episodes. This dude's also an inspiration for, like, why I hit the gym, because he's got this great story about how he was this skinny little kid getting picked on in high school. And he had this like hard-nosed history teacher who like would just punch him in the stomach. And then he's like, hey, you tell your mom to go buy you these weights. And then when you buy them, you come in and I'm going to write a workout for you and show you how to lift weights. And then like 6 months later, because he told Henry to not take his shirt off and look at his body for like 6 months, Henry took it off and all of a sudden he had muscle and then he had confidence. And then these kids started pushing him around. He started kind of pushing back. And yeah, it just changed the way he was.
And then he murdered folks like Johnny Depp.
Yeah. But, side note, we'll come back to that. But Henry also wrote this piece called The Iron. And it's on the wall in like most gyms, like the hard nose, like metal gyms, like Metroflex and stuff like that. It's just about how the iron never lies.
The
like
Ace Perry gym?
200 pounds is 200 pounds. Shirtless Henry Rollins would fit in at Temple Fit, Ace Perry Gym.
But
He's jacked. Henry's jacked.
That's like something John Madden would write. The iron never lies. 200 pounds. Yes.
Have you read the piece?
No.
If you haven't read the piece, Google it right now. This is to the listeners and to you. It's resounding, man. The iron never lies.
No. I'm just going to think it's like
also,
John Madden.
It's also a way to take control of your life. Grab the iron.
I'm in control, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. That sounded confident, didn't it?
Yeah, it would have sounded more confident if you were bulging biceps.
What? Today was bicep day in the gym. Come on, man.
You're sure it must be too big. Yeah. The other day, I went out and I had this great new T-shirt I got recently. Great gift, perfect gift. This Super Dry T-shirt, and it makes my biceps look so jacked, man. All day I looked huge. I've been referring to my bicep vein as I-95, and then being like, "Hey, you want to know how to get to Orlando?" And then I started my bicep, and I'm like, "You take I-95 south," and then I take my finger and pull it down my arm like the whole distance. Pretty funny, huh?
That's something.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to start throwing a left arm clothesline, and I'm going to call it 70 West. And then when I hit somebody, I want someone in commentary to be like, he's from Indy, and that person's head's going to land in St. Louis thanks to 70 West. But anyway, I looked really good. I was walking through Keystone Mall, and there was a headshot station at the Microsoft store at Keystone Mall. So I even just grabbed a couple new headshots, man. That was pretty sweet. Did you see them?
There's a headshot station?
Yeah, it's just like this, I don't know, you'd think it's like a selfie thing, but they have this huge light and a backdrop, and it's like, hey, get your new LinkedIn photo here. And the woman that was standing next to us was like, yeah, nobody's ever used it for LinkedIn. It's all for, like Tinder and stuff. I put mine on the gram.
Yeah.
Feel free to like it. At Jacob 2012.
Ooh, you're working in a plug too.
I could also put it on at Off the Cliff Pod, but I'll probably put up some Henry Rollins wisdom. Yeah.
Like the iron and how she don't lie.
Yeah.
Like Shakira's hips.
They haven't lied for 50 years, man. And going strong. Going real strong.
She's not that old.
I don't know, but she looks great. She was popular like 25 years ago.
That I will Google. Oh no, but I have a microphone in my hand.
What else have I talked to about Hank that everyone needs to know? Everyone should just go to the nearest half price books.
43.
40. Okay, great. She looks great for 43. Yeah, so like just go to your nearest half price books. Go look for a Henry Rollins book. Doesn't matter which one. Buy it.
Because Jake doesn't love you enough to send you one.
Yeah, if you find a copy of Get in the Van, though, straight up buy it. And if you don't keep it, I will buy it from you. Like, I would like to have another couple copies of Get in the Van, and I can't find them cheaper than like $50 or $60 online. So, like, you should probably keep it because it's a collector's piece, but you should read it first, and then you should sell it back to me. If not, buy any of the books. He has a ton of them.
Does he have more than John Leguizamo?
How many books does he have?
3.
Yeah, he's got more. Hank's got like 20 books. He has his own publishing company.
Really?
Yeah, 2/13/61. It's his birthday. That's why I know his birthday. This is the only birthday I know. Henry Rollins' birthday.
That's weird. That's funny, but that's
I'm just
weird.
kidding. I know a few more birthdays that are actually the reverse of that. Instead of 2/13, 3/12. There's a few important birthdays on 3/12.
Elvis?
I don't know.
Nah.
Maybe Elvis from Brewdog.
Nah, Elvis was born on my wedding day. Years before.
I don't recall when you got married.
Yeah. That's the problem.
I know your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
I know your birthday month. And then from there, it gets easier.
Yeah? Does it?
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Okay.
Because it's like, it happens like the very beginning of that month, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's all you need to know.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, sweet. Oh, yeah, we should probably take this time to apologize to our loyal listeners for missing 2 weeks. That's on me. I'm sorry about that.
I was just going to make an elaborate lie and say our sponsor didn't come through with the money, so we're holding the episode.
Oh, that's right. Our sponsor, Brewdog. Yeah, man. Our friend Elvis really screwed the pooch. Our checks didn't clear.
Yeah, because he changed his name. Couldn't cash it.
Our recording studio locked the door on us for 2 weeks.
We'll come up with better lies should this happen again ever.
It was such a terrible, perfect storm of scheduling not lining up.
And wintry bullcraps.
Yes, awful weather. Like there were like 2 or 3 near-death days. So we didn't do that. But we'll be back next week, though. Promise. And by then, all of you can have listened to or read something from Hank, and you can tweet me that, but don't actually tweet me that. You should just put it on like Instagram.
Jake, don't tweet.
Twitter's awful. The only reason I've used Twitter in the last 3 months was to talk trash about Tyson Fury the other day.
Well, that's why D-Boz has got more followers than you on Twitter.
Yeah, he talks trash all the time.
Now?
Yeah, it's great. I hope he never stops. I hope Dylan Bostic never dies.
That's a very nice thing for you to say.
Follow him at Dylan Bostic. Cool. So at Multimedia Hustle and at Multimedia Muscle now is Pete. At Off the Cliff Pod is both of us. I'm at Jake Oman 2012, and we will catch you next week.